If you've never played Warhammer 40,000 before, there are a few things you should know before you get started. Let's take a quick look at some basic principles. To play a game of Warhammer 40,000, you need to know how to win. Missions outline how to muster your armies, create your battlefields, and deploy your troops. They also include any special rules or information you need to know while you're playing. Maybe it's a daring night raid or a heroic last stand. In a game of Warhammer 40,000, each player commands an army made up of Citadel miniatures. Everything in your army has a value, which reflects how powerful or rare it is, and these values are used to make sure your games are fair, exciting battles of wit and skill. The mission you select will explain how big your army can be. You'll also want to know about units. An army is made up of lots of different units. All models in Warhammer 40,000 move and fight in the game as units. A unit might be a squad of soldiers, a tank, a monster, or maybe a powerful hero. If a unit consists of multiple models, then all the models in that unit will move and fight together. Make sure every model in a unit is within 2 inches of another model from the same unit at all times, in an unbroken chain, like so. This is called unit coherency. As we go through this How to Play guide, we'll explain more about units. But for now, it's important to remember 2 things. 1, all units in your army are friendly units. 2, all units in your opponent's army are enemy units. Every unit in Warhammer 40,000 has its own datasheet. These are handy guides that contain all the information you'll need to use those models in your games. A datasheet tells you everything you need to know, from how fast your units move to how brave they are and the power of their weapons. As you watch these videos and learn how to play Warhammer 40,000, we'll break the datasheets down for you and explain everything that's on them. As we learn how to move our units, fire their weapons, and fight with them in close combat, we'll refer back to the datasheet for more information. Battles have to happen somewhere, and in Warhammer 40,000, we call that place the battlefield. Makes sense, right? The mission you've chosen to play will outline the basics of your battlefield, but they all have a couple of things in common. Battlefields are rectangular in shape, so they fit on most tabletop spaces. They should have some terrain features to give your models some cover from the enemy and add tactical depth to your games. In these videos, we'll only be going over the basics of terrain. But as you become a seasoned general, you can dip into the full rules to maximize the strategic depths available. In Warhammer 40,000, we use measurements to see how far our models move across the battlefield, whether their weapons are within range of their foe, and all sorts of other situations. All measurements in the game are made in inches. We recommend you use a measurer or a tape measure. If you ever need to measure between 2 models, and when the shooting starts, this will happen a lot, always measure between the 2 nearest points on the model's bases. Even Space Marines sometimes miss their targets, and in a game of Warhammer 40,000, you'll use dice rolls to see if a shot hits its mark, how devastating an explosion is, or whether the nerve of your warriors can hold in the face of adversity. The dice used in Warhammer 40,000 are standard 6-sided dice, sometimes referred to as a D6. You'll need a few of these, so make sure you've got some to hand. Sometimes you'll need to add your dice rolls together. If you need to add the results from 2 dice together, for example, this will be written as 2d6. Sometimes you'll be asked to roll d3. To do this, Roll a d6 and halve the value, rounding up. All games of Warhammer 40,000 are divided into a series of battle rounds, where both players get a turn to use their armies. We'll take a look at the battle round in our next video.